In this video, we are going to talk about bed meshes in the No-Cartographer install. Different types and how it uses them. First thing we'll do is we'll go into Fluid and we're going to go to the Tune page. So here's a bed mesh. It is probing the bed and checking the level of the bed, high-low spot, so that the printer can compensate for it when you're printing. This affects mostly the first layer, but if your first layer is bad, everything on top of it can be messed up also. When you install K2 Improvements No-Cartographer option, the printer is saving meshes as bed temperature and chamber temperature. So 70°C, 0°C. Bed temperature with 70°C, chamber temperature with 0°C. It will make a new combination bed mesh every time you change temperatures. Once you create one, you have to save it, go to the configuration, go to printer config, and we will scroll all the way to the bottom. So as it saves them to the bottom of printer config here so it can be reused. Typically I run a 19x19 mesh when I have the No-Cartographer option. For this video I'm doing a 5x5 mesh just for the sheer time savings to be able to do this video. We're going to exit out of printer config and we'll go back to the Tune page. The other option that we're going to install is you can have a plate aware bed mesh. So it still uses the temperature settings to create the mesh, but now it also adds in the type of plate that you have installed on the machine to save a mesh. Plates may have different flatnesses, thicknesses, or difference of any kind. So Creality Print gives us 4 options for bed type. They're up here in the upper left in Creality Print. You have smooth, textured, custom, or epoxy. So I have a CryoGrip Glacier that I run as a smooth PEI plate, high temperature plate. I have the stock textured PEI plate from Creality, and I also have a Creality epoxy resin plate. If you have a 4th plate, you can run that as custom. The purpose of the plate selection is actually, if you go into your filament profile, you have bed temperatures. Each different type of plate, you can set a different temperature for this filament. So the epoxy resin plate for PETG, I run much cooler than I do the texture PEI or the smooth PEI. So this temperature gets passed to the printer, and that's what it's using to create the mesh. In each filament profile, you also have chamber temperature. For this, I have the chamber temperature set to 0, so it's disabled. So we come over here to the printer profile area, drop that down. I have 4 custom printer profiles made. One is standard, another is plate selection. I have one for camp, and I have one for camp and plate selection. So the standard passes the bed temp and the chamber temperature. The plate selection also passes in what type of plate is being used. Then you have the camp, which is just the camp setting, and then you have camp and plate selection if you want to run both. So all 4 will pass in the bed temperature and the chamber temperature, and then the others let you pick and choose what you want to do. Even if I have plate selection installed on the printer, if I don't want to run a mesh based on a plate, I can just choose standard and it will not pass the plate information to the printer. So with that being the brief overview, we'll go ahead and we'll install the option for the plate aware meshes. We're gonna come into MOBA Xterm, go into the printer, logged in, cd /K2 Improvements, and then sh menu.sh. We're going to go into optional extras, number 4. Option number 4 is the plate aware save meshes. So 4, enter. Apply plate aware mesh now, Y, enter. So it has installed it and it is now doing a firmware restart to make the changes active in the printer. The printer has come back up. Now it's waiting for the motors to initialize. And it has finished installing, so we'll press enter. It shows installed, 0 for back, option 1 for status and diagnostics. And now we have it installed. We now have the option installed on the printer. We are going to go to Fluid, go to the home page. So first thing I'm going to do is put 140 in for the extruder, 70 in for the plate. That will let it get a little heat soak. Since we just did a firmware restart, we're going to do a home all. Home all is complete. I'm going to run a Z tilt adjust. And now I'm going to run a home Z. The printer is ready, so we are going to go to Creality Print. I'm going to run a small testing primitive cube. We're just going to do a 1-layer print just to show how this all works. Go up to scale, 50 by 50. My first layer is 0.24. So now we have just a 1-layer cube. Right now I have my smooth PEI plate. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to tell it to send the plate selection. Make sure my filaments are mapped. Change the filament. Make sure it's PET G. Slice plate. Send print. Make sure it's the right printer. Go back to fluid. So in the tune, we already have a 70C 0C mesh, which is the temperatures that were sent with this print. However, since I told it to use the plate aware mesh, it's actually going to create a new mesh based on the plate. So we can see here in the console, it was looking for a textured PEI 70C 0C mesh. It doesn't exist, so it's going to create a new one. Before it creates a mesh, it's going to heat soak the printer to make sure thermal expansion doesn't affect the mesh. While we're waiting for that, we're going to go to configuration, custom, override.config. In override.config, we have variable bed mesh soak. Default it's set up for 5 minutes. If you wanted to change that, you can change that here. After you make the change, you would do a save. If you actually make a change when it's not printing, it'll have a save and restart option up here. So you can make the change, but you have to do the save and restart before it'll take effect on your next print. It's completed the heat soak, so it's going to do another Z tilt adjust. You'll do a home Z and then start the bed mesh. The bed mesh is complete. The extruder is heating up to print temperature. It'll purge material and then continue the print normally. The print has completed and we now need to save our new bed mesh. We're going to go to the tune page, and so you can see here it has texture PEI 70C 0C. So it's in active memory right now, but it is not saved to the bottom of printer config. If you do not save it and you cycle power the machine or do a firmware restart, you will lose this mesh. We're going to come up here and do a save config and restart. It shows you what it's going to save to the bottom of printer config. Save config and restart. Now that the machine's restarted, we're going to come to configuration, go up a level, printer config, and now down at the bottom here, we have bed mesh default. We have bed mesh 70C 0C. Now we also have bed mesh textured PEI 70C 0C. So it was successfully saved to the bottom of printer config. We're going to do a home all. Run a Z tilt adjust. And I'm going to do a home Z. We are now ready for our next print. Go back into Creality Print and go back to preview. I'm going to run the same print, plate selection. Oh, apparently that got switched to textured on me and I didn't notice. So that was saved as textured PEI. We're actually going to tell it smooth PEI and we'll let it run again. Slice the plate, send the print. Because I changed the plate type, it wasn't able to find the correct mesh, so now it is looking for the high temp 70C0C. It does not exist, so it's going to create it. It's completed the new bed mesh. It's loaded it. We're now heating up, waiting to purge. We're going to go to the tune page. So we still have the textured PEI plate, which was wrong, but now we have the new high temp 70C0C, and that is the one that's active right now. The print has completed and we created a new bed mesh, so we need to go back to the tune page and we need to do a save config and restart to make sure that is saved to the bottom of printer config. Save config and restart. Printer is rebooted. I removed the print, cleaned the nozzle. We're going to do a home all. Printer's ready to go. We're going to go back to Creality Print. I'm going to go to Prepare. We're going to leave the plate selection in the smooth PEI plate, but I'm going to change materials. So we'll come down here, change filament, and we're going to go with PLA Plus 2.0 Sunlu. Need to change over my profile. So in this profile, I have a 0.2 millimeter first layer height. So we're going to come back to the part here. We're going to change the first layer to 0.2. Slice plate, send print. Correct printer, correct material. Switch back to fluid. Running a different temperature, we have the same high temp plate, but it has a bed temperature of 55 and a chamber temperature of 0. So it doesn't exist, so it's going to create one. With this print, I may have to adjust the Z offset. So settings, expert mode. So this is the first time running PLA since I reinstalled the software. So 0.01 at a time, I adjusted it a total of 0.04 millimeters, and the layer's looking nice and smooth. Started out plowing through the filament pretty good. Ended up about 0.06. I don't know if you can see it. It was really rough in the first corner. Adjusted it. Started getting a little rough again, so I adjusted it some more. And the end looks nice and smooth. So we have two things to save this time. We have the bed mesh and we have the Z offset. You want to save the bed mesh first. So we'll come here, high temp, save config and restart. Save config and restart. If you don't save the bed mesh first when you save the offset, restarting for saving the offset, you will lose the bed mesh. So make sure you save that first. You can see we're starting to get some meshes saved over here. It's rebooted, so we're going to go to configuration. We're going to go custom overrides.config. So that was PLA, and I ended up changing it 0.06. So we're going to come up here to the top right to save and restart. I'm going to go back to the home screen. It's still finishing the reboot. I'm going to put the temperatures back in, 140, 55. We're going to do a home all. Run a Z tilt adjust. And home Z. I'm going to go back to Creality Print, and I'm just going to send that same print back over. Correct printer, correct material. So since we have that bed mesh saved already, you can see it looked for it, found it, it loaded it, and it's going right into printing instead of doing another bed mesh. We can also look over here and see that it pulled up that 0.06 Z offset from overrides config. So Z offset was saved. First layer looks good with the same PLA print. Now we'll go back and redo one of the PETG prints. Make sure to clean the bed going between materials. Now that the print's finished, we are going to switch back to PETG, go back to Creality Print, change our material, PETG, change our process, back to PETG. Plate selection still called up, smooth PEI plate. We are going to slice plate and send the print. Correct printer, correct material, start print. Okay. So switching back to PETG, it's looking for the high temp plate 70C0C. It found that it already existed, so it's going right into printing. So the last thing I'm going to show you is going to tune. We had the textured PEI 70C made with the wrong plate, so we know that's wrong. If you ever get a mesh that doesn't seem right, or if you need to delete a mesh, come to this page. All you have to do is hit delete profile, and then come up here and do a save config. So the following sections are marked for deletion. Bed mesh texture PEI 70C0C. Save config and restart. So that's going to conclude this video. I hope you find the information useful, and let me know in the comments if you need any more help.